President Proctor, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. It's a loud echo. Thank you for joining us tonight at the San Mateo-Foster City School District Board of Trustees meeting. Today is November 17th, 2022. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:38 p.m. Trustee Corso, do you mind starting with the translation announcement, please?
Sure thing. Bienvenidos. Si ocupan traducción, por favor, levanten su mano adentro de Zoom o también pueden hacer clic en la pantalla donde dice interpretación y cambiar el idioma de esa manera. Gracias.
Trustee Corso, you've been saying that for several years. I'm going to have to learn how to, you say it exactly the same way every time, but I think we all know you're not going to be the one saying it in the future. So that's going to follow me. Unless somebody else wants to learn Spanish between now and January.
Okay, we're going to start with the flag salute. So please join and stand and join me with the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America.
Okay, we will start with a roll call. Trustee Chin.
Here.
Trustee Corso.
Here.
Trustee Watkins.
Here.
And I'm also here. Moving on to item 2C, approval of agenda for tonight's meeting.
A motion to approve the agenda?
Recording in progress.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Corso for the motion and Trustee Chin for the second. All in favor, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay. That is 4 in favor. So we will move on to item 2D, approval of the minutes from the September 15th, 2022 meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Chin and Trustee Corso. All in favor, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay, that's 4 in favor. The minutes are approved and we will go on to item 3A. Public statements related to non-agenda topics. The
Foster City School Board cannot act upon any matter that has not been included and publicly posted on the agenda, except under limited circumstances as permitted by law. The board may refer matters raised in this forum to the staff for investigation and or action where appropriate. Please limit your statements to 3 minutes.
So we have a large audience here in the room. Is there anybody that would like to make any public comments? They can't hear. 1 second.
It is going to have a bit of an echo, but you will be able to hear. So we apologize for that.
Okay, I'm going to talk and try to ignore the echo. Is there anyone in the room that would like to make public comments at this time? Okay. Forrest, can we check with the Zoom audience, please?
Yes, if there are any members in the audience that would like to make public comment within Zoom, please use the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. One moment, please. Okay, we have one member of the public audience that would like to make comment. I'm going to bring you in to allow to talk. You will have 3 minutes to talk. 1 moment while I set up the timer. And go ahead and unmute and begin when you're ready.
Hello. My name is Zoya Salome. I'm from Beresford Elementary School. This is super quick. I am just here at the board meeting to talk about Jorge and our custodian and how important and integral he is to our community. And I just want to advocate for having him remain at our school. That's all. We love him so much. He's such an important part of our community. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. If there is any other members of the audience that would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. And with that, President Proctor, there are no other members that would like to make public comment.
Which I don't have. I don't know if anybody has them. Do you have them? I was just going to share what the exact number was, but it was a really fun evening. Thank you so much to everyone in the community, our sponsors, our community members, elected officials, parents, families, the Ed Foundation board, everyone that made that event a success. Really appreciate it. We will share exact numbers at some point. I don't have those front and center.
Thank you. We can move on to item 3D, SMETA CSCA SMEA updates.
Got it. Oh, go. Okay, sorry. On. All right. Well, welcome. All right, we can hear. This is great. Just to give a little SMETA update for today, it is the end of the trimester starting tomorrow. A lot of the sites are engaging in parent-teacher conferences right now, getting a chance to speak with their families, and teachers are getting a chance to speak together. The main thing that I wanted to do tonight is just have a special congratulations to all of our 46 teachers, TOSAs, program specialists, speech and language pathologists, and counselors who went through, successfully completed their 2-year probationary status and are now getting recognized as being eligible for permanent status tonight. So these teachers started, and all of our educators, they started in 2020, 2021, the height of the pandemic, one of the craziest times ever to be an educator. And they did their first year in our district, or maybe even their very first year as an educator, in probably one of the craziest situations, that doing things that no teacher's ever done before, doing it their very first year. So it's pretty amazing that they're here and we're here, and the fact that they have stuck with it, are now eligible for permanent status. I think that's an amazing thing. So we're really grateful to everybody who did that, all 46 of you. A couple other things with SMETA. SMETA just completed their round of an election. We want to congratulate Lisa Fahey for being vice president, taking over my old position. And other election news, congratulations, Trustee Chin, and congratulations, Noelia Corzo, Trustee Corzo, as in your election results as they keep going. I just wanted to have wish everybody a restful and happy Thanksgiving. I think everyone is very much looking forward to next week's break. That's all.
Just for folks that don't know Bienvenidos. Mira is the San Mateo Elementary Teachers Association.
Anyone? Okay. Forrest, do you see anyone for CSEA?
If you are with the speaker of the SMFCSD and you're in the Zoom audience, please use the raise hand functionality so I can locate you within the attendees. Excellent.
Forrest, Alicia Aragon has her hand up, so if we can promote her to the panel.
Alicia, you've been promoted and as well as asked to unmute. Go ahead and start when you're ready.
Hi, everyone. You can hear me, right? Very good. Okay. So this is not CSDA, but I do want to congratulate all the teachers in the audience. I'm assuming that's why your audience is so big this evening. So congratulations to all of you. I also wanted to congratulate Trustee Chin and Trustee Corzo, although Trustee Corzo's has been stressing me out a little bit watching those numbers, but congratulations. I don't have much to report except that we also had our elections and you are stuck with me for 2 more years. I also wanted to congratulate Denora Smith on still continuing vice president, and our financial wizard over at the district office, Joanne Murphy, is our new trustee or trustee treasurer. But that's all I've got. Hope you all have a wonderful week with your kiddos and everything next week and get some rest.
Thank you. Do we have someone from SMEA? Oh, yeah, come on up.
Okay, good evening, Superintendent Ochoa, distinguished members of the board, and our guests. I am Becky Steffen, the principal of Brewer Island, and accompanying me this evening are our 5th grade members of our student council. And each student called and spoke with an administrator to help us prepare our update.
Hello, my name is Avani. We're honored to be able to share the administrator's update and school highlights with you. Administrators are attending trainings about equity and cultural curiosity and are reading a book called Unconscious Bias. Principals meet with principals from other schools to visit classrooms and then talk together about what the students are learning. Schools celebrate the students who have been reclassified as fluent English proficient. This has been accomplished by over 320 students. Hi, my name is Lewis. I learned that some schools have gotten new turf fields. We did too. We can't wait to use it. Some schools have gotten new heating and air conditioning units. Another school, Parkside, has 7th graders at their school this year, and next year they'll have 8th graders. That's so cool. There are Lego labs this year, and we're excited for our room to be ready soon. Many schools have had field trips, book fairs, heritage celebrations, Halloween parades, and one school had a monster mash with dancing and food. Thank you to all of our PTAs and schools for having these kinds of events.
Hi, my name is Shihan. Parents in some schools have been meeting with teachers for parent-guardian teacher conferences. We're so thankful for our teachers who help us learn. At Burr Island, our student council met with classrooms to ask questions about how we can make a school even better and have asked about how can we how they know that adults at school care about them. We also have a running club with over 130 students and a mindful music moment with each morning during our morning announcements. This week, we are listening to music in recognition of Native American Heritage Month. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Walkmore. Did you know that 26 languages are represented at Brewer Island? And did you know that a photo of some of our kindergarten students is featured on the EdJoin portal for our school district for people who are looking for a job in education? It's an example of diversity and inclusion in our school district, and the focus on creating a sense of belonging. Check it out. Thank you for listening to our update.
Thank you for that update, Brewer Island. Good evening. My name is Nicole Sandoval, and I'm honored to serve as the principal at Abbott Middle School. And we brought 4 of our fabulous Falcons tonight to share with you what's going on at Abbott.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kellen. I'm a 7th grader at Abbott. As Ms. Sandoval said, Abbott has some programs that build community around our school. I am a web leader, which stands for Where Everyone Belongs at Abbott. Web is a group of 7th and 8th graders who lead 6th graders on orientation in tours and games. Also, I am the secretary on ASB at Abbott. We hold regular meetings with other members and meet with advisory representatives to discuss ideas that we work with leadership.
Good evening. My name is Gabriel. I'm also in 7th grade. I'm in the leadership class, and I am on the ASB board, vice president. A few things I'll talk about today is how ASB works with leadership and Unity Day, which we had about 2 weeks ago. Unity Day 2 weeks ago was a thing that brought our community closer together. It helped us all come together and realize our strengths and weaknesses together and how we could build off of that. ASB and leadership basically are working together to plan out events and fun activities for the rest of school. In our leadership class, we have student appreciation and staff appreciation to recognize everyone. So that's just a few things about our ASB and leadership programs.
Hello, my name is Ocean and I'm in 6th grade. The things that I'm going to talk about is art class and the things that we do there. And when we first enter our class, we go to our lockers and take out our sketchbooks, which we made ourselves. Then we will look at the board and there will be 2 prompts and we'll choose one to draw about. Some of the main projects that we've done in art are the paper masks for Dias de los Muertos, watercolor paintings, and portraits of ourselves. Some things that I personally enjoyed about it was a nice break from the usual subjects, which were a little more factual, and this was more relaxing and laid back. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia Moyer, and I'm going to talk to you about CTE. CTE is a very important class that Abbott is very lucky to have for its students. In CTE, you work together with 1 or sometimes 2 other people on job tasks. Like in video production, you might read about something like a green screen, and then you would take a video or a few pictures of the green screen. Or in sports medicine, you might learn how to wrap an injury. These jobs and all the tasks that you learn are very important parts of the actual jobs. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for those updates, especially the last one was so special to have students here, and it was really great to hear what you're all up to. So thank you. Any other announcements?
I also just want to thank all of the students and parents that are here. It's amazing to see young people, students, talk about the work that's being done in our school district. And I can't tell you how much joy it brings me to see that. So thank you all so much. I couldn't have done it when I was your age. So wow, super impressive. Great job.
Okay, we can move on to officially announcement. I can share an announcement. So last meeting, I wasn't here because I went to Japan with the Foster City Sister City Association. And I know that it's not totally school district related, but they are going to be coming here. A group of delegates from Japan will be coming here in February. And I'm hoping that our school district can get involved. And when I went there, they had students that talked about their schools and their libraries and their parks, and they did a couple of different performances. So I think that's a great way that when the people from Japan come here, we can kind of show them what Foster City and San Mateo are like, and the fact that we have 2 cities in one school district will be interesting to them. And I can't wait till they come. So I had a great time and I missed you all, but it was really fun. So glad to be back.
I don't have an official announcement, but I just wanted to say for all the parents and students that are here, we're so happy you could join us. The rest of this meeting is going to get a little more complicated. So if you have to get home to have dinner or do your homework, please feel free to do that anytime. But we're so glad that you joined us, and we are going to move on to other agenda items. But yeah, thank you so much for being here.
I'm sorry, I realized I should have waited to say that.
It's okay.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 3F, superintendent report.
Thank you so much, President Proctor. It's my honor tonight to first of all congratulate all of our employees who earned this milestone achievement in their career. I think, speaking on behalf of the administration and certainly with the school board, we just want to see our school district be a place where our faculty want to remain and want to work and want to be here. And so we're proud of you. We're happy for you. And we really want to work with you and make this. Let's celebrate the first 2, but let's add another 28 onto the back side of that and just go ahead and stay here for at least 30 years. So that's one thing. The second is I met with Steve Okamoto. Steve, as you know, President Proctor was the architect behind the trip for you all to Inagi City, the sister city for Foster City. Our delegation is going to receive that group on February 4th and 5th, just a few months away. We made an agreement to host the group over at Beach Park Elementary School, which is here in Foster City. I'll be reaching out to the faculty, administration, and students of those schools in Foster City to encourage members to volunteer to come and welcome this group from Japan. And we have a day of events planned. Our portion might end up being 20 minutes or 45 minutes. We're still figuring out the particulars, but we'll be very honored to have this delegation come from Japan and get to know our community and get to see what our children are doing. So certainly more information is going to come down the road on that. And that's my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. We will move on to item 4, the proposed consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion in the form listed below. There will be no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items be removed and discussed from the consent agenda. The superintendent and staff recommend approval of all consent items. Movement of any recommended consent items are appropriate at this time. Should we pull the,
We don't have to, as we can show the video. Later.
okay, okay. Would anybody on the board like to pull anything? Anyone in the audience like to pull any items from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, can we please check with Zoom? Forrest?
Yes, if there are any members in the audience on Zoom that would like to pull any items from the agenda, please raise your hand using the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. With that, President Parker, I do not have any members in the audience that would like to pull any individual items from the agenda. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Chin and Trustee Corzo. All in favor, please. Aye.
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 Okay, that is unanimous. So we have approved item 4, and we can go to our little ceremony here.
Good evening, trustees and Superintendent Ochoa. I am very thrilled and appreciative of the hard work of our probationary employees who this evening, just moments ago, gained their permanence. This is just such a thrilling time. These people have worked for at least 2 years to make sure that they achieved their credential and that they have worked hard with our students to make sure that they've learned and that they're growing socially and emotionally. And I have met most of these people through my site visits, and I've seen some excellent instruction going on. So with no further ado, we have a little video to show you, and then we will have an award ceremony thereafter. Forrest, will you kindly show the video?
Laura Lee, Esther, Jeanette, Byron, congratulations on earning your permanent status. Thank you for everything you do for our students and to help improve the overall campus culture here at Abbott. We are so lucky to have you. You are such a gift. Congratulations on this, and here's wishing you continued success. Go Falcons.
Hi, I'm Maria DiMattei, principal of Bayside Academy. I just would like to congratulate all of our Bayside teachers for reaching permanent status. Congratulations to you all.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Nadi, principal of Burrell, and I'm honored to celebrate these fantastic educators. Jim, Esther, Ann Rose, Kalpana, Susan, Crystal, Jacob, Taruna, and Aaron. Starting teaching at middle school during COVID was not an easy task. You were an amazing group of Bobcats that started with us via Google Meet, moved on to Zoom, and did it with a smile. Each of you have advanced your department's curriculum plan, bringing your expertise, putting in time, and being a collaborative thought partner. Thank you so much for what you do for our Burrell community. We are proud of you and look forward to many years to come. Cheers. Have a good night.
Hello, my name is Jane Jung. I'm the assistant principal here at Bowditch Middle School. On behalf of Mr. Bowers and myself, we would like to congratulate Ms. Cho and Ms. Schaefer on receiving permanent status. We're so very lucky to have you here at our site. We appreciate the impact that you make on our students every day. We wish you an amazing teaching career here with our school district, and we look forward to working with you for many, many years to come. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. This is Principal Anjanetta Sanina at College Park Elementary School. I just wanted to express my congratulations to Ms. Yang and Ms. Chu for earning permanent status with the district. We are so lucky and fortunate to have you on the team.
Here
here from Fiesta Gardens, we'd like to congratulate Maestro Vidal Cubero and Maestra Raquel Figueroa for being permanent status. We learn from you every day, and our Fiesta community is super excited to have you be a part of our team. Congratulations.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Gall and I'm the principal at Foster City Elementary School. I'm very honored today to celebrate and congratulate 3 of our staff members who are now permanent staff members within our school district. The first one I would like to congratulate is a 4th grade teacher, Christy Van Ostrand. She's an amazing teacher. She does so many inclusion work. She's a leader on our campus and we're very happy to have her. The next person I'd like to congratulate is Mari Rajamaki. She's a 1st grade teacher. She's amazing with some of our littlest students on campus. We're so fortunate to have her. And the last person I would like to congratulate is new to our PE team this year, Coach Franco. Kids love being out there. They love doing PE and playing out on our beautiful new field. And so again, I just want to congratulate all of you. Thank you for continuing to work and want to be part of our San Mateo-Foster City School District, and most importantly and especially part of our Foster City school team.
I'm Justine DiMaggio, principal of George Hall, and tonight I would like to congratulate 3 of our amazing staff members for achieving permanent status with our school district. Kristen Crawford, a 2-3 SDC teacher, Alicia Gilman, a 1st grade teacher, and Nina Lo-Schiavo, our speech and language pathologist. You embody what it means to be kind and inclusive, and your hard work and dedication to our school and our students is evident in all that you do. We are so lucky to have you on our campus serving our community. Congratulations.
Hi there, I just want to congratulate Maria Lepe, an amazing dedicated teacher here at Lead. We are so happy to have Miss Lepe at our school and continue to be at Lead. So thank you so much and congratulations, Maria.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Fermetti, principal of Meadow Heights, and I'm here to congratulate Kelly Westberg, our language and literacy teacher on special assignment. Congratulations, Kelly, for reaching permanent status. Our school is so incredibly lucky to have you as part of our team. You are a true leader, an advocate, and a champion of early literacy at Meadow Heights, and it's because of you that we have been able to implement such a strong early literacy program. Congratulations, Kelly.
Congratulations and thank you for everything you do.
I would also like to introduce our new Director of IT, Mr. Joe Siam. Forrest, if you could allow Joe into the meeting just so he can say hi to the audience, that would be fabulous.
Hello, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored and grateful for the opportunity to join the San Mateo Foster City School District. And I'm looking forward to working towards the district's goals and serving our staff, community, and most importantly, our students. Thank you.
Welcome, Joe, and to the audience members and to our trustees and to our administrators and staff. Joe comes from the South San Francisco Unified School District, is current Director of Technology, so welcome to the team.
And I would like to invite all of our amazing newly permanent teachers who are in the audience up. Stand up, come on down. So thank you for everything that you've done this year and last year, and congratulations. Please step this way. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Oops. Thank you.
With that, we're going to take about a 3-minute break so we can snap a couple of pictures.
When you get called in, use this one.
Is that okay? To get ready? To get ready?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, thank you for letting us do that.
Okay, we're coming back. Apologies to the Zoom audience. You probably missed a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe we can make a video available because I know the sound didn't come through. And it was a really nice video. So,
Before you get started, please, if
yes.
the panelists could share their screen so that the slideshow is available on Zoom.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just waiting for.
Okay, our next item is item 5A. It's an after-school program update, and we are just waiting to get the slides on the screen, and then we can begin.
There, I can see them. Oh, no, I think Forrest is on here doing some magic.
Okay.
So while we get ready for that, I would just like,
No, it's the, yeah. No, it's using the. I don't know why oh, it says that we're in the right window. It's not correcting that. It's gonna disconnect.
okay,
Okay.
there you go. Good evening,
Thank you.
Superintendent Ochoa and trustees. This evening, we have Tiffany Canaris, Principal on Special Assignment, and she's going to share an update of our after-school program.
Yeah, the slides are on Zoom.
I'm gonna switch back.
Go back to the, yeah. Just down there. Yep.
It doesn't allow me to share a screen.
Okay. Forrest is trying to.
President Proctor, if we can take a 5-minute recess so we can work on the tech issues and just rejoin.
Sounds great. Thank you. Okay, it looks like we are set to go. So let's try it again.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Perfect. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to give an update our after-school program. So on the agenda tonight is an overview of our program, annex staffing, grants, camps, future growth, and then any questions. The annex was established about 30 years ago and is as an interest fund. The annex covers the cost of running the program, including staff, custodial supplies, snack, as well as indirect costs such as the expenses related to HR, ASOP absence system, and out of school time software, Easy Child Track. In addition, we purchased the movie license for all of the school sites so they can show educational videos throughout the school year. About 5 years ago, the annex staff worked together to update our mission to match the staff's commitment to quality care and learning opportunities. We know how significantly students benefit from having a caring adult at school, both academically and emotionally. We offer before and after school care 5 days per week. All of our school programs provide homework support, indoor, outdoor enrichment activities that are age appropriate, and daily nutritious snacks that are provided by our child nutrition department. This year, we have continued to incorporate district programs such as Footsteps to Brilliance, ST Math, Zern, as well as Second Step out of school time, the district's adopted social emotional curriculum. We offer online registration and bill pay for families, including auto payment. To assist with the online applications, we host 3 to 4 evening events to support the application process. We also partner with school AAs and community workers to ensure that everyone has technical assistance and is able to access the process in a timely manner. Registration for current annex families begins the first week in January, while new families registration begins in mid-January. The annex currently provides before school care at 17 sites and after schools care at 14 sites. Together with the YMCA, Newton Boys and Girls Club, we serve over 1,000 students. The annex staff are dedicated, hardworking, and caring adults who truly enjoy working with students. The staff breakdown is as follows. We have 47 annex employees, 1 principal on special assignments, 2 administrative assistants, 15 lead teachers, and 29 teachers and assistants. Each school site is supported by classified staff that hold 3 titles. Each site has a lead teacher that works with and guides the teachers and assistants. We are actively searching for new staff by attending job fairs, as well as continuously posting in the contact and join. We have the best luck finding staff through current employees and word of mouth. We currently have 1 lead teacher and 1 assistant position open. In addition, we are advertising for upcoming retirements, as well as the 4 sites that we hope to reopen. ACES. The district received funding from the After School Education and Safety Grant, Prop 49 in 2007. The ACES grant provides funding to youth at specific school sites to provide academic and literacy support and safe, constructive alternatives. We currently serve students at Fiesta Gardens, George Hall, Lead, and Sunnybrae. We receive approximately $416,000 through this grant and serve 227 students. Out of School Grant is a new grant. This year, San Mateo County offered the Out of School Grant to expand access to programs for low income and youth from underrepresented backgrounds or communities to support the social emotional well-being of youth to mitigate the setbacks and hardships associated with COVID-19. The grant is to provide opportunities for youth to re-inspire and propel learning, to counterbalance the loss of learning opportunities attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic and distance learning. San Mateo-Foster City School District was awarded $200,000, and the money will be used this year to provide camps during the school breaks.
And Tiffany, if I can chime in here, thank you for certainly pointing out this grant. This was an opportunity that was brought to our attention actually by our trustee, Noelia Corzo, who in just a few short months will be sitting on a different dais doing different work, but it relates to this because the county puts out information via a variety of mediums, email lists, and they basically said, who is interested in giving more services to kids? And so Noelia reached out and said, are we applying for this? Because if we're not, we should apply for this. And as you know, Tiffany, yourself, Dennis Hills, a variety of your colleagues in the Ed Services Department, and myself worked for a number of weeks writing the grant that we subsequently received $200,000 to be able to provide this new and grant funded program to our students. And actually they just, if you read the Daily Journal 2 days ago, they announced they put another $3 million on the table, and they're asking for proposals again. So our district is certainly going to apply for those funds as well. We plan to use the funds to serve children with special needs and English learners in grades 3 through 7 across the school district based on economic need and academic need. So we're really, really excited about that grant opportunity, and receiving this one is sort of the template that we're using in terms of how we apply for this next round of funding. Back to you, Tiffany.
And the last grant we just the due date was this week, so it's the 21st Century Learning. The San Mateo Foster City School District has applied for the 21st Century Grant to support students in after school and out of school care. With Superintendent Ochoa's leadership, this application is a part of our new SMFC initiative to support the creation of community learning centers that provide academic enrichment opportunities during non-school hours for children, particularly.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting too excited as you're describing this, but so I'm just going to chime in here and then I'll pass it right back to you. But just look at the ACES funding, which is how we typically think about our after school programs at George Hall and Fiesta. And we serve, depending on the year and depending on staffing, we can serve sometimes up to 60 kids or 40 kids at a particular school with that funding. And we're basically asking for $795,000. And I want to make it clear to our constituents, to our partners with SMETA and CSEA and SMEA, these are dollars that are annual dollars. So it is not a one-time grant. The grant that we referred just a few minutes ago, the $200,000 grant, that's one-time money. We get it. We're going to create some fun programs. It's going to be awesome for the kids. But this $795,000, this is ongoing every single year to maintain long-term after-school care programs at those schools listed. And we're just really excited about that possibility. Fingers crossed, we'll check our emails every single day to see when they tell us that we're receiving the money, but they might tell us sometime closer to March. So.
All right, well, he pretty much covered that, but I would really like to thank the people who came together to help write this grant. There was many people, but especially Pam Bartfield from Ed Services and Alexis O'Flaherty from Student Services, along with Dennis Hills and Superintendent Ochoa. And new grant funded camps. So from our out of school time grant, money awarded from the county will be used to fund camps during our breaks, fall, Thanksgiving, and spring break, and the 3 weeks in summer. Students will be invited based on academic and economic need, with the current focus for this upcoming camp on grades 3 through 5 with a plan to expand. The program will include activities such as read alouds, footsteps to brilliance, math talks, ST math, STEM activities such as Legos, and Kitco project-based learning that promotes creativity, STEM, problem solving, and collaboration, brought to us by Nancy Bowie. The Annex has collaborated with the Ed Services Department to design lessons that support academic growth in reading and mathematics. Next week, we will have 230 students with 4 credentialed teachers and 24 paraeducators on site at Fiesta Gardens. So while many of you will be off, there will be some of us providing this great camp. Future growth. As we continue to move forward, the after-school program plans to support students with both academic and economic need. Students will be identified by using district and state assessment data. The program will focus on district-aligned curriculum, footsteps to brilliance, ST Math, ZERN, and second step. In addition, credentialed teachers will develop curriculum and support staff in the implementation to further make academic growth. Students in the after-school program will have access to Lego labs to build their STEAM knowledge.
If I can chime in here, Tiffany, thank you for that summary. This summer, myself and Nancy Bowie and a few others had an opportunity to go and visit Beresford Elementary School. As a district, we work with an organization that does camps there that they refer to as the Galileo summer camps. So we walked into the school, and the kids are very, very sweet. All the adults were dressed up, like one was like in a tutu with green tights, and another one was kind of like a Spider-Man. And so the adults were all they were just so focused on having fun, on sort of energizing the kids. And they took us into a classroom where there was plastic all over the floor and plastic all over the walls. So, as a superintendent, I'm sort of like, what's my insurance risk in it? Like, why are we doing this? What's happening? And there were all these paper bags around the room. If you can imagine the whole exterior of the room, just paper bags. So we went over and looked inside, and you could tell that the kids were creating something, and they looked sort of like the skeleton of a dinosaur. And so I asked the teacher who was there, and the person was probably, I don't know, 20, 22 years old, fairly young. And they said, well, we're doing a unit on how to create your own dinosaur. And so I said, how do you know what to do? Because the room has been like this all week. He said, well, they give us this, and he handed me a book that was, about 150 pages. And what that company does is they bring on teachers who don't teach the kids. The teachers work together in a room, and you could think of like a conference room, and they just create curriculum, and they create lesson plans, and they create activities and ideas, and they put them in a really formal looking document that they give to the staff that's actually going to work with the kids once the kids arrive. So that was sort of a big aha for me, understanding that they wanted their program quality to be high. So they brought in teacher experts who enjoyed doing that aspect of teaching. And then the 20-somethings that were doing the after school program just loved it, and they just could follow it along, and the kids had a wonderful time. So what we're doing in this summer camp and what we're doing in this November camp and in the March camp, it's sort of like dipping our toe in the water, where the teachers that we referred to, they're actually not going to be quote unquote teaching the kids. They don't have students assigned to their name. in sort of after school care, we call that being out of ratio, because there's 230 kids and there's about 24 staff. So you see the student to teacher ratio. But the 4 teachers are sort of like the leads who are helping to create all these lessons and these activities. And they'll be on site on those days, watching it happen and giving coaching and support. But we do have this idea that at some point down the line, we find a way to bring in grant funding to pay for some positions where teachers create really exciting after school care and extended day care lesson plans and activities, so that the time our kids are spending between 3 and 6 is really, really well spent. And that's built into this presentation. And I want to thank Tiffany and the members of our team for being willing to look just a little bit beyond what we've normally done to develop what we think is going to be a really fun experience for these kids.
That's my whole presentation. So thank you, Diego, for your help. I guess, do you guys have any questions or comments?
Thank you. Do we have any clarifying questions?
Okay, if you don't.
I had a quick question. For the camps and the programs where you said their grant funding is provided, is there any cost to the families, or this is?
No cost.
Okay, thank you.
It was.
I'm doing this on my phone because my computer audio is messed up and I don't know how to use Zoom on my phone. Oh, can you talk a little bit about what the process is for identifying students to be a part of the camps? And I know you talked a little bit about the focus around academic and economic need and then the grade focus, but just able to share a little bit more about kind of what that looks like currently and what our, I guess, goal is for expansion.
So to identify students, I worked with Ryan Hayden from Student Services, and he compiled a list of students who, using district assessments, who were performing below grade level in grades 3 through 5. And that also met the criteria of economic need. They had that data and he compiled a spreadsheet, and then we used that. And we had the community service specialists call and reach out to families to invite them to the camp.
Awesome. And then I guess a follow-up question is, how many students are on that list and how many students are able to participate? Like, what's the delta that we're working with in terms of students that we want to serve that we aren't currently able to with where we are now?
Tiffany, I can chime in on this here. We started with the benchmark of being when our students took that initial round of assessments for it to be not meeting standards. So the rubric scoring for these exams was not meeting standards, nearly meeting standards, exceeding standards. So the group of students in the not meeting standards category for those 3 grade levels and having economic need was a little bit less than 200. But some folks go out of town. Some folks just want their kids home with them. Some folks said, unless we can have my 8th grader in the program or my kinder in the program, we can't do it. It ended up being about 2 out of every 3 kids who fell into that category are in this program. So at that point in time, we went to the next band or range, which is the nearly meeting standards. And that was an additional 300 kids. And from there, based on the distance from standard. So if you can think of the scores in that range being like like on a 1 to 100 scale, like 30 down to 19. Then we started at 19 and have worked our way up. It's not exactly like that. The tests are different than that, but just as a matter of explanation. I think what we want to do, what we want to get to, is to be able to serve somewhere between 400 and 450 kids in programs like this. And it might require us to be willing to bring some partners in with us, to bring in some of those community organizations that would want to partner with us and help us carry some of this, because we want our employees to also have breaks. So that's super, super important to us. And I think we balance that when we try to create these.
That's helpful. I guess I have a follow-up to that, which is the students that are a part of these camps. This is different, for example, from the Math Boost and other kind of intervention programs. One question is, how much overlap is there? And then my other question is, what are the ways that we're tracking impact of these? Like, what are we hoping shifts as a result of this? I mean, obviously, like broadly academics, right? But and then what are the ways that we're monitoring? I'm thinking about, like, we have a variety of different interventions, and how many kids are participating in all of them versus some of them, and then what are the ways in which we're like determining effectiveness of the various programs and determining which ones we want to expand, which ones we feel like are not as effective as others, etc.
Absolutely. We implemented the Math Boost program last year, and we're able to draw a connection between participation in the Math Boost program and impact on our students' end of year state assessments. We had about 30% of the kids who were in the program move from the not meeting standards to the nearly or meeting, and even some exceeding standards. So we were just like over the moon about that. What we found out was that the program was having that strong impact. I wouldn't say almost exclusively, but overwhelmingly for kids whose English language development scores were higher. So part of the idea behind these camps is to specifically look at students who have greater language learning needs and to make sure that they have space in this program. So 1 out of every 2 kids in this 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade November camp, March camp, and June camp are in that category of having more intensive language learning needs. That's our way to, if you can think of it, test against how the Math Boost last year didn't have that strong impact, to ascertain whether something that has a more high dosage implementation over a shorter period of time might cause that growth to happen. So what we're looking at are 2 criteria. One is improvement on their LPAC scores, which are state exam scores. And the second is their achievement on the California, the CASP scores, the state assessment. And that's the reason we chose 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, because those exams are administered to all of these students. I think probably the 3rd criteria, and for me equally important, is attendance at school and engagement in class. So we'll have you can think of it as a qualitative rubric process where we engage with these students' teachers to ask them questions about their experience in school in general, how they're working through school. We think that these programs are going to inspire the kids, because part of the design of the program is not just to tutor English and math, but to really provide opportunities that are going to excite the kids about learning and give them opportunities to be creative and to find their voice and to have an experience that's affirming for them as learners. So that's kind of like, for us, the pie in the sky, you know, big picture, we want to do that, but we also want to see it on those assessment results.
That's helpful context. Thanks for sharing. One follow-up on this is there a reason that we didn't use English language learner as a specific criteria, like as opposed to, for example, economic need? If that's kind of the target.
Yeah, there was there was under the English language learner category, when we looked at this grade span, it would have not been, we wouldn't have gotten to 240. And that was also part of the calculus because we wanted to be able to have, they didn't show it tonight, but it looks like a master schedule of the courses the kids are taking, because they're not with one staff member doing these things. The kids are actually going to move from one activity to a different activity to a different activity. So that 230 number really allows us to make that programmatic process work. But what I think is also important for the board and certainly our participants online and those in attendance tonight, when we made those phone calls to engage and to offer, students with those higher language needs who met this criteria are all absolutely included. And that falls into the expression is like dual identified, or another way is unduplicated. So like I have English learning needs, but I'm also have economic need, and I also might have an IEP, and there are pretty significant number of students who met more than one criteria. And in the January school board meeting, we'll have this data for you based on the November program. So we're excited about that.
Any other questions? Okay. Can we go to public comment, please, Forrest?
Yes, if there are any members in the audience that would like to make public comment within Zoom, please use the raise hand functionality now. We have a couple commenters coming in now. I'm going to bring in our first commenter, and go ahead and unmute when you are ready.
Hello, good evening. I have a couple of questions to ask if the presenters could be inclined to answer. So I appreciate President Proctor for asking about the camps and the cost to families. I didn't quite understand from the presentation, and it's not quite clear in the slides, whether the 21st Century Learning Grant goes entirely to the camps, or whether this goes to subsidized after-school care as well. So that would be one question. Sorry if I didn't pay 100% attention to that particular point. Second question is, what proportion of the seats that are mentioned in slide 3 are served by SMFC annex staff, and what proportion of those seats are served by external groups like Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, Newton, etc. And then thirdly, what is the overall budget for the after school for the annex? And so with this grant funding that's coming in, what's the impact on the annex fees for the families that don't qualify for the subsidized, right? So in other words, is the after school, the annex care, is that a break-even program, or how does that stand with respect to the district budget? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If there are any other members of the audience that would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. President Proctor, back to you. There are no other comments.
Thank you. Superintendent Ochoa, are you raising your
Yes,
hand?
myself and Tiffany are making hand signals, and one of
Yeah,
I
I
think
see
we
it.
both know. Yes. To give clarification, in the chart on slide 3, 100% of the kids attending the schools that don't have an asterisk next to them are being served by school district exclusively by annex staff that's contracted through the school district. San Mateo Park's a good example of it's actually quite complicated. They are receiving services from Newton. They are receiving services from Homework Central, and they are receiving services from the Boys and Girls Club. And the numbers do fluctuate. Over at San Mateo Park, 100% of the students in that category are being serviced by an external provider, but it really varies. I think what we would want to do is to be able to bring back a chart at our next update with just some of those specifics at the board's request to do so. And in each of these programs, we would go down with a more specific designation of number of students in each of the programs aligned there. There was a question about annex funding and grant funding. So for the out-of-school grant, this $200,000 from the San Mateo County, that is being used exclusively to fund the camps we just went into in detail. The 21st Century Learning funding won't be used in any way for any of those camps. It's new funding and it is competitive. So we've asked for $795,000. We hope to receive it. We feel really good about our grant application, and we'll find out in the months ahead to what extent they're willing to provide us those funds. But for those camps, they're exclusively being funded through this out-of-school grant from San Mateo County. And there was a third question, which was, anybody who wants to help me here, do we break even? Our fee for the after-school program is $750. Part of the process we used was to analyze, the fairly complex system of analysis of payroll, statutory benefits, health and welfare, overall number of staff members, program costs. And so we're certainly wanting this program to service families. And I think in years past, it may have been more of a priority for it to be an enterprise funds and to bring in funding for the district. We've focused less on that in the last 12 months and more on wanting to provide access, but the biggest hurdle right now is staffing. And I think any provider you talk to will tell you it is very difficult in this market to find staffing. So Tiffany, you're welcome to chime in here. Patrick, certainly as in your role as the Deputy Superintendent supervising business services, you're welcome to chime in here too, or you're welcome to just smile. But it's just been a lesser concern for us to be able to draw money from the after school program.
I go just going back to question, I think it was her second question about seats. The annex currently serves, just looking at the after school program, a little over 60% of the total students. The number, and then YMCA, Newton and Boys and Girls Club. YMCA is the smallest at about 22 students, but Newton Boys and Girls are in the 180 range of students they serve after school.
And I just wanted to compliment the superintendent for accurately depicting the financial picture. So I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Let's open up for board comment.
I can go. Sorry, you guys keep like seeing my hand. The Zoom phone interface is like not conducive to this structure. Thank you for the update, and just like a major thanks to everyone that's been involved in sourcing and pursuing and writing and receiving grants to continue to expand these programs. I think we've heard and talked to, heard from lots of families and talked a lot as a board about just there's a need out there for additional support and time, after school, et cetera, for kids. And there's a need to think like really strategically about how we continue to provide additional supports for our kids. And so I just appreciate all of the intentionality and getting extra funding to be able to do more and more of that. And then thinking really intentionally about who we are serving in some of these additional programs and how we're tracking that and all of that. So just a lot of gratitude for that. My only thought was, as you all were talking a little bit about the credentialed teacher support and just in some of these programs, it just made me think a little bit about, and I know we've heard a little bit about this as well, and it's like a known, I would say, barrier in terms of like after school support, in terms of like what is that connection between what happens with kids during the day and then what happens with kids after school. And so I'm just interested maybe in the future I don't know like how much we're thinking about the ways in which we can better make that connection, so that like when we think about annex generally and kids that are participating in that program and after school programs, like there just feels like a really tight connection between what's happening and then how they're the kinds of supports that they're getting during those after school hours, because I think it can end up being really impactful when like you have that really tight connection. But I know that it takes a lot to be able to do that effectively. And so I'm just it's half question, half comment. I'm not like necessarily expecting that, you all have like a built out answer to that in this moment, but I would be interested to hear about how we're thinking about that moving forward, in addition to some of the things that you all already said. And then the other thing it made me think about is like, we got the question about finance, and as you guys were talking about finance, and this not necessarily being a program that we're expecting to profit from, it made me think a little bit about some of the conversations that we've had around preschool and the potential kind of sliding scale piece. And I know that right now there's issues with staffing and like, so it makes it challenging to think about like opening up the pool necessarily, but it's just, I think, a conversation as we continue to like think about expanding opportunities. Are we missing kids in some of these programs that don't qualify for, to be covered, and then are unable to pay the $750 or whatever, because that's like a huge delta, right? In the same way that we were thinking about the sliding scale for some of the preschool programs, like you don't qualify for subsidized, but you can't afford the fee base. And so like, and I don't know what that number is in terms of how many families qualify, but I would venture to say it's probably pretty big. And so something else I think to add to the conversation, particularly if like we're making a decision that this is not a profitable, not something that's bringing money into the district in the same way that we might be making that decision about the preschool program. Obviously, there are like other ripple effects and implications, but so to part of what we've discussed in the past, like the more that we are able to invest up front, like as soon as this is like, we can prove that these are impactful programs, like if a kid goes to this annex program and there's this tight connection between what's happening in the school day and like they're going every day and we're seeing these sorts of gains, I think we can make a pretty strong argument for like, then we should increase the availability of that, right? Because like you don't have all the interventions and, so like this proactive way to approach this problem solving, which I know is something that's on the radar and something that we've been talking a little bit about. So those are, I would say, like the two things that are kind of swirling around in my mind, but I'm glad that we're talking about this, and thanks for all of the work that's gone into it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the presentation. Before I get to my comments, I'm just going to continue off of Trustee Watkins' comments. I remember, and off the public's comments, I remember years ago, we at the board made a decision. There was a decision, I think, to raise the annex fees. And it was a significant amount, because I remember people coming to us and explaining or, voicing the concern that we're raising it a little bit high. But I also think that we had made the decision that it wasn't, this program wasn't meant to sort of make money. And I think that it was meant to sort of keep the cost down. So I agree with Trustee Watkins. It'd be interesting to see, what groups are we sort of missing there in terms of those who maybe don't qualify for subsidized roles, but then also can't pay for the higher. Is there sort of this missing middle that you were talking about? That would be very interesting to know. And in terms of the finances, I'd also would love to know, like, what is our line? If we're actually, operating this program at, let's say, a 20% loss, but we as a board and as a district have made that decision because that's what's right for these families, then sort of I'm okay with it. But I just would love to know what that line is. And it doesn't have to be next meeting. My thought is whenever you come back with the budget, it makes sense because it's sort of a financial sort of item. I don't necessarily need it, anytime, but it'd be good to know. So my original comments is that I'm really super excited about the intercession programs. I know that, and I'd mentioned this before, when my eldest son joined the school district, that was right when the school district had changed from operating two different calendars, a year-round calendar and a traditional calendar. And it was meant and became a modified calendar where then all of a sudden we had 2 weeks in October, 2 week breaks in December or winter, and 2 weeks in spring break. And the intent of that was to have sort of these intercession camps to help those students come along and provide additional care. Now, of course, I think what happened is that our budget just all of a sudden fell off a cliff in some ways. And I don't necessarily know if those camps ever happened. So I'm super excited that we have this opportunity and we'll be able to bring these students in for additional care and additional help. What intrigues me about it is also the numbers, right? 224 is our highest of what we're doing at Fiesta Gardens coming up next week, and then over spring break and the other one as well. I'd be curious, what is that other number? How many of other kids could we possibly expand this to? And if we're showing true success. So one of the comments, Superintendent Ochoa, that you had mentioned, which I didn't know about, was the data around the math boost that we did last year and calling out 30% of those students who are in the math boost who maybe wouldn't have met, but they're either meeting or exceeding, in the CAS score. And that's a great metric. I understand that there's other students, maybe because of English language, because it's a lot of reading comprehension in terms of the math tests now, that maybe those, wouldn't have performed better. But I'm super excited about that. And I would love to know how we're sort of tracking the success of these intercession camps, similar to Math Boost, so that therefore, when we go out and ask for more money from either the county or the state, we can actually show that we have a metric and that there's success here. And so I'm really excited. I want to thank you guys for all your hard work. I know it was a lot to put in the grants, to actually write those and get those in, and then also to pull all the work in for next week and create that schedule. And I'm just really excited, not only for the district, but for our kids who are going to be attending these after school programs or the camps. The after school programs, the annex, I think you guys are great anyways. It's this additional add-on, which is another element which I'm super excited about. So thank you for everything you guys do.
I'm really excited about all of what's to come. I'm going to keep it super brief and just also extend my gratitude. My son was in an after-school program at Fiesta Gardens and loved it, and it just makes me so happy to know that we're doing everything we can to serve more kids and to address the root causes of how we improve kids, how we improve their opportunities and their access and their joy, and how much support they feel and how much support the families feel. So thank you. Lots of excellent questions and points that my fellow trustees made. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing all this information. I wanted to just make a couple of comments. One being that when I was in Japan, I learned that they go to school from 8:30 to 5 p.m. And having after school programs, I think is really important, not only because we have all these great programs that we have for students, but also because it's a need for parents. A lot of parents need after school care. So I'm glad that we have these opportunities, and I'm glad that we have the YMCA and Boys and Girls Club and to help supplement that. A couple of things I wanted to note. So I think that, after school programs and camps, that's one of those areas where I think it widens that opportunity gap, right? There's people that can afford to go to after school care, they can afford to go to camp. So I'm really pleased that we have like this systematic method for figuring out which students qualify and can participate. I think in the past it's felt a little bit like wishy-washy, like, teachers could recommend students. So this at least feels like we have a system for identifying who can participate and who qualifies. I'd love to do more, so I'm glad that we have funding to do so. When I look at the annex or the after school, I should say, enrollment, I think I've said this in the past, but when we look at how many students, like the ratios, right? If there's, let's say, I don't know, let's just say you can have 24 kids with one adult. And so if one school has 28, so that means there's 2 adults, we're already not making money on those extra spots. My thoughts would be to just add kids that really need to go there. I mean, we're already not making money. If there are kids with need that could benefit from going to after school programs, put them in there. So I would push for just making sure that we're capturing as many students as we can in these programs. And maybe we're already doing that, but I just want to make sure that that we're thinking about that. And I'm also really excited about the camps, and glad that we have this for students. I would just be curious, like how we can find out what impact this made for these students. And I don't know if we will follow up or what that will look like, but I think it's pretty cool. So thank you for everyone's hard work on this. Okay. Now we can go on to item 6A. That was just a presentation, right? There's no voting. Okay. 6A, California Community Schools Partnership Programs Update.
Okay, can you all see me? Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna start this. You can't. No. You were promoted not to be a panelist. Let's see. Well, you can all see me. No, but I meant on the screen. So fun.
Let's just have somebody's laptop.
Yeah.
Just have them sit down at one of your laptops, please.
Okay.
There should be an option on your computer now, Christian. If you accept it, you should be able to share your screen.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. You cannot see me still. There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent, and community. My name is Dr. Krishna Rubalkawa, and I'm the Director of School Leadership. The purpose for this presentation is to provide you an update on our community school initiative. It's really important that we realize that the work that is happening, this is actually a great segue from the previous presentation because it's all connected, right? Our strategic plan really brings in all the pieces together. And with our community school initiative, it kind of literally both reinforces and highlights the work in our strategic plan, but it also emboldens the work that we've been doing with our equity task force resolution, with our sanctuary task force resolution, and with our concerted efforts, our ongoing efforts at dismantling our school, the school to prison pipeline. Here's kind of a snapshot of the work. As I continue out with our Title I school communities, I'm continuously explaining and breaking down this process of what it is that makes a community school separate from a traditional public school. And these are the 4 pillars that really brings everything together. It's the integrated student supports, expanded and enriched learning time and opportunities, which is why I mentioned, this after school presentation before, just kind of is a beautiful segue into this. Collaborative leadership, right, in which we bring in our community and families into this leadership process. Active family and community engagement, continuing providing voice and input, and focusing on the assets that our communities offer. We're in the middle of ongoing work. As an update, right? We're our team of principals at these Title I schools are working on composing, right, their steering committees composed of parents, principals, teachers, community partners, where parents, right, are at the nexus and at the heart of it all, right, because they are the majority, in these steering committees. It's that empowerment component that really is allowing this process to be a true community project. The steering committees, once they are assembled, and I will have an update on once those are assembled, we'll be reviewing the data that I'm collecting at our community meetings. They'll build a plan, right, for including more and more voices. And actually, we are continuing to deepen that, right? And at every meeting that I hold with the community, there's more and more participation. We'll also complete asset mapping and then a needs assessment, always with that key idea of developing a plan for student voice. Our school and faculty are extremely important. I have forged a really great partnership with our SPIDA leadership to ensure that we engage faculty and staff throughout the year and collect their voice. And it's actually great to see a lot of faculty and teachers and staff show up to these community meetings, which is really great. There'll be survey opportunities, which the steering committee, will then be crafting as the collaborative, and offering that shared leadership opportunity. What's really great is this family and community engagement component. This is the empowerment process, right? This is where we are actively seeking to dismantle the school to prison pipeline, where we're advancing the goals of our strategic plan and really giving them the voice to give input. The families have stories, they have assets, and they bring in their cultural lens to really tell us and guide the work. As I tell them every time at the beginning of every meeting, I said, I'm a facilitator, right? And I'm here to kind of unearth and figure out the journey and where they want to take the school, right, as a result of this grant. So there'll be, in this first planning year, right, we have 6 community engagements, tons of input opportunity. Parents are showing up. I think one story that sticks out was recently I had a meeting and a parent shared that she had just gotten laid off, but that she had read a flyer that said, "Your voice is your power. Please come to this community meeting," right? And she came, right? She was looking forward to this meeting. And it just goes to show like the power of offering an opportunity for our families to be able to give that voice and be part of the decision-making process, right? I'm actually taking all of their input and crafting it into a school profile that is actionable and that will be implemented once we receive the funds after this 2-year planning process. Here's kind of a snapshot of where we're at. I just completed the first round for each of our 5 Title I schools. The introduction, team building, bonding, and now we're on to our second one. We were just at Laurel last night, where I invited our Ed Services department, because it's super important that our families are provided with knowledge, right? Once they have the knowledge, they can maneuver and be more powerful, right? And sharing their voice. So one of the things that we're doing is we're breaking down what each of our departments provides them, because then we ask at the very end, what more do you need, right? And that's the key part, right? We don't want them to give us things that are already happening, because there's so many amazing things already happening, as you can see. But we want them to give us that extra enrichment idea that we know that these kiddos need. So then I'll come back at a later board meetings where I can give you an update on, when we bring in the other departments of our district. This is where we're at. A huge shout out to our principals, Cynthia Chin, Nelson Hunter, Assistant Principal Natalie Dale Hunt, Chad Slife, Jeanette Ramirez, Carrie Hasselton. They're doing an incredibly collaborative effort and really bringing in the community together. And so a major shout out to them. This is a quick snapshot of the work, of the visual of what we're trying to do here. It's these 4 pillars that I cannot overemphasize, because this is the structure that gives our community the power to have a voice, right? And the power to give that input so that, these funds that will be brought to our 5 Title I schools communities is going to really help advance our wellness goals, our achievement goals, and our equity goals. So that concludes my presentation. Board of Trustees, I'm open to questions or comments from the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any clarifying questions? Okay, there are no questions, so let's go to public comment.
Yes, at this time, if there are any members in the audience that would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. We have a couple commenters coming in. I'm going to bring in our first commenter. Go ahead and unmute when you're ready to talk. You will have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Anya, and I'm actually a teacher over at Sunnybray. And I just wanted to say how excited I am that our district is part of this, and that Sunnybray specifically is getting to be, one of the leading schools in this community schools endeavor, and that this has really been an amazing opportunity, and how well so far it's been rolling out, and how excited all the parents have been at all of these meetings. So thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are any other members in the audience that would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand functionality within Zoom now. President Proctor, back to you. There are no other members that would like to make comment.
Thank you so much. Opening up for board comments now.
I'll start. Thank you for the presentation. I'm really excited about the progress that you've already made, but then also looking at where you're going. Seeing how you go through the actual, you have the dates and everything else in terms of the next steps. I'm very excited about the process and about the engagement that you've already made. And so I'm just very excited about where we're going. So I just want to thank you for all your work on this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rubalcaba, for the update and for all of your work. I know the last time that we talked, Superintendent Ochoa was sharing just about, the number of hours that you're putting into this outside of kind of standard hours. So I know that it's a lot, and we're just really grateful for you again, going to the places and spaces and times that are really working for our family versus, I think that that's like a very practical example of like centering the people whose voices, as you said, we're really looking to elevate. I just think this work is, I mean, you know, when you kind of grounded us in the beginning of like the various resolutions that we've passed as a board over the past couple of years, and like, you know, we've been talking about these concepts like at a policy level for a long time. And I feel just like now we're actually seeing the work on the ground. And this is like one really concrete example of that. And so just really grateful to continue to receive these updates and for all of the work that's gone into it. So just really thank you for your leadership in this, and to you as well, Superintendent Ochoa. And if there are other ways that as a board we can support this work, please let us know.
Thank you.
Superintendent Ochoa, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, it is raised. A couple of comments. I want to just repeat where this came from, what the history is with the equity work in this district. Both resolutions around sanctuary, around equity are instrumental in this work. The willingness to name and address and challenge the school to prison pipeline is undoubtedly connected to this work. The gentleman who's making tonight's presentation came to this district partly because he wanted to be involved in equity work. When he joined, he was principal at Laurel Elementary School, which is one of the schools that's involved in this process. His decision to come to the district office this year was difficult for him because he loves working with students, but he knew that this was a possibility, that this equity work is happening at a practice level because the policy existed. This would not be happening if policy were not in place for this to happen. I do want to put a small plug out there for some initial conversations we're starting to have relative to special education policy and where we might go, because I think that's also related to this work. The voices of our special education students and their families and our educators. But you're looking at some very, very innovative work that's only happening in this district at this time. In San Mateo County, there's one public school district that's going through this process. That's our district. And it stems from the confluence of policy and practice. And then I tease Dr. Rubalcaba, but he has a day job, which is supporting principals at school sites. And then this is his night job. So this is his second job, his evening job, because it's, as you can tell, it's 5 different schools, 6 different times. That's 30 evening meetings at a minimum, in addition to the various other responsibilities. And I'm just very grateful for his leadership and his work in this area.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you and our entire district for like everybody plays their role in this process, and like the idea of community schools is not a new one, right? Other districts have done it, but like it hasn't really been done here, and it's so desperately needed. And to see how much thought and intention and planning and voice is being given to our kids and families that really need community schools is beautiful. And I'm happy I've been a part of it. And I've like was trying not to cry during your presentation because yeah, I'm so happy that I got to be a part of it. And it's not all the way done, but it's happening. And I know that it will be just what our kids and our families need. And I also think that it's all part of like addressing the root causes of inequity and like what makes it really difficult for teachers, right? You're in a class and you have so many kids and they all have different needs. And when we like, if we can get ahead of this and disrupt inequities really early on and support families and support students, like the work just becomes more manageable in the long run. And I'm so proud of all of us in our school district and our teachers and our kids and our families and us as a board and our leadership. And Yeah, thank you.
Okay, just do you want to go first and then I can add on?
Oh, okay. To say, so I'll go first and save the best for last. I just want to thank you for all of your work and for everyone that's moving this forward. I think this is really exciting, and I appreciate you sharing what you're doing. I really enjoyed that you said you're helping educate the families on what each department does. Oh, I lost my AirPods, sorry. And then also asking them what do they need. My one ask would be, as we get more updates from you, if you could share a bit about what is discussed in some of these sessions, because I'm curious what families what's resonating with them, what's exciting them about this process, and I would love to hear more about that. So thank you. I'll toss it over to Trustee Watkins.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Trustee Proctor. I was just gonna kind of piggyback on the Trustee Corzo because as you were talking, Noelia, and I'm not all of this is making me think back to why we ran in the first place and kind of just, building a platform based on equity. And I also simultaneously think about how challenging it has been to move the needle from a policy public standpoint for the last 5 years, and how much criticism there is when you think about some of these major decisions like the school to prison pipeline and the SRO resolution and compacted math and calling out instances where our community was not being inclusive, just thinking about all of the places where our board has really lifted up equity and simultaneously hears from multiple community members about how we actually don't care about equity. And this to me is a reminder of why we continue to climb the hill despite being despite many people wanting to stamp that down repeatedly. And so I'm just I just fell after, I don't know, I feel the need to say that because I think it's there's so often where I think that people want to silence this work or want it not to happen. It's changing a system, it's changing a structure, it's giving voice to people that haven't had it, which means other people lose a bit of a power that they think they're entitled to and they don't like it. And then this is the work. And I'm so grateful to have staff and educators, I think about Anya, thank you for getting on and, speaking about how important it is to you. There are people on the ground, on our board, in our district that recognize exactly how important this is. And and that's what we need to continue to focus on. And I hope that our entire community will rally behind this work and try to address some of the barriers and biases that might be getting in the way of that. And I hope we can continue to move forward together. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Are we good? Any other comments? Thank you. We will move on to item 7, board member statements and requests for future agenda items.
I have a request. I know we can pull this off, but I really want to be a part of, before I move on, I want to be a part of passing a resolution. So I want to request that we explore a resolution for student trustees. I think especially seeing the students today that came and gave a presentation, we have amazing and intelligent students that, I don't know how it would work exactly, but I would love to dedicate some of my time. I'm gonna have a lot more free time in the, I think 10 days before our next board meeting. So yeah, I think that would be amazing.
Just as another request, during, I guess, one of the various meetings that I've had, the PTA council was wondering if they could be added to our agenda, just like our other committee members, SMETA, CSEA, and SMEA, so that they might be able to have an opportunity at every single meeting to bring up what's going on with the PTAs. And so I just wanted to broach that with you guys. I know depending on whether or not you all agree, you can just mention to Superintendent Ochoa, but I thought it was a good point because there's a lot of great things that are happening in our schools and a lot of things that we get invited to and a lot of things we don't, but it'd be great for to hear from them directly. So just my 2 cents.
I will make a brief statement and just congratulate my fellow trustees on successful campaigns. And I know next meeting, right? Next board meeting is our like reorganization. So we'll say hello to a new trustee, and I guess, yes, congratulations to Leticia Brooks. And we'll say our farewells to our friend trustee Corzo over here. But so I hope that everybody comes to the meeting next meeting, because I want to make it a fun celebration and lots of cheer and hugs and everything. So congratulations. Yes, we'll do the swearing in. Yes, we'll do all of that. Board reorganization, all of that. So.
I don't know. I might explore keeping both. I'm just kidding. I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Moving on to item 8, board future meeting dates. They're listed there, December 15th and January 26th. Oh, and we have a study session January 19th and February 9th. Yes. Well, okay. Yes. So I guess the item, so before we go to item 9, item 10 is there's a closed session item with existing litigation. So we can go to item 9 if there's any public comments on the closed session item. 4.
Yes, if there are any members in the audience that would like to make a public comment on closed session items, please use the raise hand functionality now. And we do have one member who would like to make comment. I'm going to bring them in. Go ahead and unmute when you are ready, and you will have 3 minutes.
I was just going to say that it's difficult to comment on any closed session item when there's nothing agendized for the closed session.
Okay, thank you for your comment. If there are no other comments that would like to be made by members of the audience, if so, please use your raise hand functionality within Zoom now. President Proctor, back to you.
And President Proctor, I would advise the board that we, albeit having to do with a clerical error here, that we not actually convene in closed session. The item itself can absolutely be discussed at our next closed session. Under the Brown Act, publicly posting the agenda is a requirement, and in this case, the intent was certainly to do so. Unfortunately, the error is there. I think, this just gives us an opportunity to close out the meeting a few minutes early, and our team can get back together on December 15th and certainly add the closed session item to that meeting.
Thank you for clarifying that. I'm sorry, I was looking at a different version of the agenda. Sorry. Okay, I have an old version, I guess. So then we can go to item 12, adjournment. Anyone would like to make a motion?
I motion to adjourn.
Thank you, trustee Corzo and trustee Watkins. All in favor, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay, meeting is adjourned at 7:44 p.m. Thank you.